audio issues and I had to switch headphones for now. I have to figure it out after the stream what's going on. But for now, we're here. I'm back. I was on a little road trip slash like mini vacation. And I heard that there's a press conference today. And I was like, wow. Everybody's been waiting and, with a lot of anticipation for updates, especially from police, because we haven't heard much from police. But in reading one of these articles, and there's a whole lot of drama, unfortunately, with this story. It's been a mess. But I was reading on the webpage, and it says that this press conference, let me pull it up here, is that there's no new developments. Oh, right there in the middle of the screen. So it's at 11 Central Time, which is 12 for me Eastern. And it says at this time there's no new developments to report. However, we understand the importance of keeping the public informed. So it's going to be like a Q&A type of thing, from what I heard. Also, Nick Barres, the reporter, he's going to be over there live asking questions. Let's see, Nick Barres. He just took a...
With Sumner County Sheriff's Chief Deputy Eric Craddock, talking a bit about an update on the search for Sebastian Rogers. Just, this is the first time we've heard from you in a while, and that's because you guys have been busy investigating.
That's right.
Anything new to report at this stage?
No, sir.
Nothing. 5 weeks?
No, sir.
Nothing.
Just asking, what is being done at this point? What does the public need to know that you continue to do in the search?
We continue to investigate and follow up on every tip or lead that comes in.
Any evidence of foul play?
There's no evidence to support that.
And there's a lot of people looking at whether it's biological mom or the stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, I believe his name is. A lot of people looking at him, and then some people even looking at the biological father, Seth Rogers. I kind of think, I don't know, I think he might have ran away. I heard of a lot of bad things about Chris. I mean, things I've seen online about his character and stuff. I mean, one of the interesting, let me finish this and I'll show you something interesting as well.
But you can't rule it out necessarily. You're ruling nothing out at this point.
That's right. I'm ruling nothing out.
And as far as the public, what you could ask them to continue to do?
Remain vigilant. If they see something, say something. Call 1-800-TBI-FINE or 615-451-3838 with any tips or leads.
Okay. We'll have much more on this story to come.
So he just recorded a little, they are going to be streaming there. Something that was interesting because, we'll get to that in a second. JLR posted this. He's actually, I think he's there in person. Chris Proudfoot, at one point it almost seemed like he said he took the polygraph, but then I guess it's the biological mother that took the polygraph, and he said he's willing to do it. I think he said it on Nancy Grace, and so somebody here on Twitter says, did you ever set up a polygraph test for Chris Proudfoot? Nancy Grace replied, we're still trying. So that's kind of interesting. I don't think he's dead either. I hope he's alive and okay, but I don't think I think he's alive as well. Some of the drama stuff that's been going on. Let me just pull up this recent article from, I think, 2 days ago or a day ago. So he's been missing since February 26th, and they did issue an Amber Alert, and the United Cajun Navy, a nonprofit volunteer group leading the search for Sebastian Rogers, said in a Facebook post that it halted its efforts Friday because of increasing security issues. In a statement for the Uvalde Foundation of Kids, or for Kids, said that it would send security patrol teams to protect volunteers in their search for Sebastian. The Cajun Navy volunteers have received death threats online and in person, according to the foundation, a nonprofit formed following the deadly mass shooting. And it says here, the foundation is appalled that dedicated volunteers searching to bring this young man home They are being subjected to threats due to their efforts. This will not be tolerated. This will not stop the search. I have asked our National Stop Now Safety Team's director to assemble a special team of 18 additional volunteers to aid in the search. So, but I think they completely pulled out now. I don't think they're still searching anymore. There is some questionable stuff. I saw that they went back and forth a bit with JLR, and they put some stuff on him that, you know, I have never seen anywhere. Something about kidnapping a child or something like that. And I've never seen anything anywhere to suggest that JLR has ever done anything like that. He does have a criminal history, and he's talked about that, but I was surprised to see them put that on him. I haven't followed all the ins and outs, but it's been messy. It's been just back and forth with the search team or check this out. The United Cajun Navy continues to seek attention. He posted this just 20 minutes ago. Continues to seek attention by any means in the Sebastian Rogers missing case. They've recently claimed to know the location of his body, but say they are too afraid to recover his body. In contrast, for 5 weeks, others have shown up day after day to search for Sebastian. They've worked without seeking media attention, without making excuses, soliciting donations, issuing threats, without lying about canine detections or engaging in dramatic behavior. These individuals showing up daily to search for Sebastian embody the spirit of true first responders. That is what search and rescue looks like. So I don't know. I saw some talks about this on Facebook. I haven't seen it myself or where that came from. I don't know. Let me look for a live feed too. Play this here.
The search for Sebastian. His biological father, Seth Rogers, told me earlier this week that neither his son's mother nor stepfather, who you heard from there, has spoken to him about the investigation, despite making other public appearances.
That's weird to me. That is so odd that the mother and stepdad, they're not communicating. I guess they're at odds. But I would think for the sake of finding your kid, you'd be able to communicate.
To be about Sebastian, they wanted to talk about themselves. I don't get that.
Shoot.
We need to get Sebastian's face out to everybody. Have them looking for Sebastian. This isn't about me. It's not about his mom. It's not about his stepdad. This is about Sebastian.
Nick Barris here, and I'm
He needs to be found.
Sad situation there. All right, joining us now, former FBI agent and News Nation law and justice contributor Jennifer Koffendorfer. Jennifer, it's always nice to see you. First of all, I'm curious what you think about the United Cajun Navy calling off the search because they say they've received like threats. I mean, I've never heard of such a thing, Jennifer.
It's crazy what's going on in this case, honestly. I've never seen anything like it either. What ends up happening here is web sleuths and YouTubers have, this case, it would seem, taking the situation too far. Where now, they believe some people are involved in nefarious activity, possibly the parents, possibly the United Cajun Navy, and there's threats being lodged, and I've actually confirmed them. So,
That's what I was wondering. I was wondering. It's crazy to me that people would do that, but again, the day and age we're in, online. Is my mic okay? You guys hear me? I haven't really used the computer much as I got back, really first time now, kind of, except the failed chase. But I was wondering, like, did they really get death threats? I mean, I know there's back and forth going on, and whoever's right, whoever's wrong. I would hope that people wouldn't do death threats, but she's saying she's confirmed them.
I feel very confident in saying that there are complaints that have been lodged with the sheriff's office and that there are safety concerns.
Okay, hold on.
I'm Eric Craddock, ERIC-CRADDOCK, and I'm the Chief Deputy at the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. I'm joined today by Susan Nyland, SUSAN-NILAND, of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. She's the PIO. I also have with me Sumner County Emergency Management Director Ken Widener, KENWEIDNER. You guys ready? All right. Good morning. I'm Eric Craddock with Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and we're going to come to you today with an update on the Sebastian Rogers case. Sebastian has been missing since late February. The investigation remains ongoing with steadfast support from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, and many other local and federal resources. We are exploring every lead that comes in and every tip that comes in. As I said before, the investigation remains ongoing. The entire community is deeply saddened by what has occurred. We're all extremely concerned for Sebastian's welfare. I want to encourage the community to stay vigilant, to report anything that they think may be of some significance to the investigation, no matter how minute it may appear to be to you. Please call 1-800-TBI-FIND with any tips, or the Sumner County Emergency Communications Center at 615-451-3838. We understand the anxiety and the concern that this case has caused in the community. We too share the anxiety and concern for Sebastian. I want to reiterate that we are doing everything we can to find Sebastian and bring him home. Despite the passage of time, the commitment to finding Sebastian remains unwavering. I said this when we scaled the search back. Our commitment to finding Sebastian remains. We will continue to investigate every possible lead that comes in. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office wants to express our gratitude to the community and the many individuals who have helped in the search, the many individuals who have called in tips, the many individuals who have printed flyers and kept Sebastian's face in the news. Nothing would make me happier than to wake up tomorrow morning with a tip that cracks this case wide open and we find Sebastian and bring him home. At this time, I'll turn it over to Susan Allen from the TBI.
And I heard Chris Proudfoot's ex-wife.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for being here. We know how invested everybody is in the search for Sebastian, in finding out what happened to him and bringing him home. And we want to let everybody know he has not been forgotten. Nobody's forgotten about him. Nobody has given up looking for him. At the beginning of this investigation, there was a large land search for him. It was very visible. There were also waterways, lakes, ponds that were searched. There were aerial searches with helicopters and drones and fixed wing planes. They were done at night, they were done on weekends, they were done during the day. That was very visible, and it was something everybody was able to see. But we want to let you know that even though there is not that high visibility in investigating this case, that we are not done. It's gone back to what could be considered good old-fashioned police work. Interviewing individuals, re-interviewing individuals, checking out leads, rechecking leads. We have been working with other law enforcement agencies who have had, in other jurisdictions, who have perhaps had some complex cases of their own that they have worked on to get tips from them. We have had, this day of technology with everyone having cell phones and doorbells and ring bells and surveillance cameras. That, as you can imagine, has been a bit of a chore to be able to collect all those and then review them. It's important so we know what's out there. We have been reviewing that, reviewing it again. We have had other agencies involved. The FBI has been helpful in that. Secret Service has also been helpful in that. So we are just trying to do whatever we can to advance the investigation. It has not gone to a place where anybody has forgotten about him or is not pursuing this. The parents have been cooperative throughout. At the beginning of the investigation, they have pretty much done whatever law enforcement has asked of them. At this point, we don't have any evidence. There is not any kind of an indication that there is a criminal element involved. But we are keeping options open. We don't know what has happened. We don't know where Sebastian is right now, so we are pursuing any and all avenues. We do want to caution there are some social media elements out there who purport to have information that is direct from the investigation. I just want to reiterate that is not the case. Some of the information that is being provided on some of the social media channels is inaccurate, incomplete. We don't want this to damage the investigation. So we would just caution anyone who is following the case to just use some caution as to what you see and what you believe. It's caused a bit of a distraction because a lot of what has been out there in some of the social media channels has been rumors and speculations and theories, and some of that has been advanced and people have caught a hold of it as if it's what's really happening. That has resulted in us getting information that is either, like I said, distracting. It's taking away time and effort from what the agencies need to be doing as far as looking for Sebastian. We have had so far, as of this morning, 314 tips that have come in through the tip line. It's been mentioned, but I'll say it again. It's 1-800-TBI-FIND. We are also taking tips through email.
Uh-oh. Come on.
TBI, TBI, at tbi.tn.gov. What's next? We want people, as Chief Deputy said, to continue to remain vigilant, get Sebastian's picture out there, continue to share his picture, his information. Now that it's getting to be nicer, well, not today with the weather, but now that the weather has turned warmer, people may be more inclined to be in their yards. If you go out and see anything that looks different, let us know. Something where perhaps a teenager could have hidden. If you have a large amount of property in the area or something that has any kind of holes or unstable footing or ledges where a teen could have gone to hide or to play, and you don't feel comfortable checking it out, let us know. We'll get somebody from law enforcement to go out there with you or to check it out themselves. We just want to make sure that every stone is unturned, that there's no stone left unturned, that we want people to make sure that we are looking everywhere we can. We do want to continue to get the tips, but please don't provide information that you might have seen through social media channels. If you have information about Sebastian, about conversations you might have had with him, things he likes to do, places he liked to go, any people he may have mentioned that are in his life, that could be helpful in finding out maybe what he was interested in. Finally, we want to thank the community. We want to thank the media. You guys have been really good about keeping his name in the public's eye. That's really important. And thank you for your diligence in providing that information out there. And as Chief Deputy said, we also want to thank the community. From the very first day, everybody has really been all in as far as whatever they can do to help in the search, to help pass information on, providing water for the teams that were out conducting the ground searches. So thank you again to everybody. I'm going to pass it back to Eric Craddock.
The weather is rolling in. We've got time for some questions, so yes, ma'am.
Let's go.
I was a few minutes behind, so sorry if I missed this, but has there been any indication at this point of foul play or anything of that nature?
There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
But at this point, you don't rule it out?
We're not ruling anything out.
So 5 weeks, and you guys covered so much ground, searching, going back, researching, checked out every case of a possible sighting, nothing confirmed. Not a trace of Sebastian anywhere, nothing found. No footprints, no video, nothing.
Nothing that is taking us to locate Sebastian.
And are there any working theories?
We come up with theories almost daily and try and investigate and make sure that we're doing everything we can to find Sebastian.
Share any of those?
No, sir.
2 questions, if I may. Have you ruled out Sebastian's mom's and stepdad's involvement in this case? And as a follow-up, have you cleared their alibi?
I think the TBI said it best. They've been nothing but cooperative with law enforcement since day one of this investigation. There is no evidence to support foul play on the part of Sebastian's parents.
Is them moving to Memphis interfering at all with your investigation? Is it changing possibly the avenues of communication?
No, sir.
You mentioned, you were asked about recent evidence. We've heard some rumors that do seem to have some validity, that there was glasses found within the past few days. Can you confirm that?
There were some glasses found in the past few days.
Have you been able to identify that they were Sebastian's?
We are still investigating.
And on the Cajun Navy, have you found how is that coordination happening? Have you found their work helpful? Are you guys working in unison or separate teams?
The Cajun Navy is operating independently. They have not reached out to us.
have you found their investigation or their work helpful, or has it been one of the distractions that has been mentioned?
One of the things that I really appreciate they've done is print flyers and keep Sebastian's face out there. It's my hope that one day somebody sees something and calls in and this case breaks wide open and we find Sebastian.
They've claimed they've received threats. To your knowledge, have they filed any police reports or reports with the Sheriff's Department documenting any of these alleged threats?
No, sir.
Are we able to learn anything about what those threats are?
They would have to call the police and report them.
Where does the search go from here? It's been 5 weeks, there's been no signs. Do you believe he's still alive? And what are you guys going to continue working on?
My hope and prayer is that Sebastian is still alive, yes. We're going to continue to work on this investigation and follow up every tip of the lead that comes in. Some of this may revert back to us going over some things that we've already done for the 6th, 7th, or 8th time. A fresh set of eyes never hurt anything. We're going to continue to work to find Sebastian.
Have the stories been changing at all? Have you been talking with people, interviewing them for a second time possibly?
There is no evidence to support foul play.
Are there any active current leads that you guys are pursuing?
We have tips called in daily.
Any of those tips seem legitimate enough to expand law enforcement resources?
Regardless of their legitimacy, we're going to follow up on them.
Will there be any other agencies pulled in to help in the search efforts for this case?
I'm certain there will be.
You met with the biological father and mother this past week. Was that at their request, your request? Was that just re-interviewing them again? Or?
That was at the request of law enforcement. It's not uncommon to talk to the family in investigations like this. I've got time for one more question.
Just overall, how has this investigation impacted the morale of your department, especially with all of the scrutiny coming online?
Let me put it to you like this. If my kid was missing, this is the team I'd want on. The men and women of the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, the FBI partners, the other local agencies, the Secret Service, everyone who's had a hand in this case is doing everything they can to find Sebastian. Morale's high. We are here and we are dedicated. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for keeping Sebastian in the public. Please continue to publicize this photo. Thank you all.
This is, I don't know. Maybe Nick is going to jump on live after now. Super weird. So, we know they've been saying no foul play, and so they're still saying the same thing, no foul play, and they're saying that the parents have been fully cooperative. They did say that they're not working with Cajun Navy. I haven't followed all the Cajun Navy stuff. I think they pulled out now, or I don't know if they just took a break, but I don't know if they've said that they were working with law enforcement. But anyway, police are saying they're independent. And, they try to ask him, well, I think they're trying to pry and maybe see what the police think of Cajun Navy, but all they said is they appreciate that they're out there getting the name out. There was a lot of back and forth online. People were saying, some people say that they're not actually searching, which now I guess now they aren't. It was just a whole mess with that whole situation, unfortunately. But Jennifer Coffindaffer, she says that she saw the threats and that it's legit, but the police are saying no, that it wasn't called in. I think it's always a good idea sometimes to call it in if you have the whatever, because you never know the future. It could be beneficial for you to have a record.
Concerns and advocacy, getting the story out there. All of that is so welcomed. Web sleuths do such a nice job, Brian, as you know, digging up information. But where it crosses the line is when threats start happening. It's unbelievable.
Is it weird to you, though, that they would pull out? They seem like really, tough men and women. They go out and do these searches. Like, why would they let that stop them?
Well, I think in this case, the United Cajun Navy is a small part of it. They're really handling, my understanding, is the organization of it. In other words, individuals come there, they're given a place.
That's what I figured. I figured they were doing. There's like volunteer people, and the Cajun Navy kind of organize it, or they kind of run it, but people come and volunteer.
to search in groups of 2. So they're more the volunteers, not necessarily the people even in the Cajun Navy, but even if you're associated, at least a couple of people have been threatened, is my understanding.
So disturbing. All right, hearing that podcast with the stepdad saying that he, I think, swatted Sebastian with a belt. Now Sebastian's missing. The stepdad and the mom apparently aren't talking to the biological dad. The stepdad and the mom took off in the RV from the house. I mean, do you find any of those things to be concerning?
I do. I find some of it to be concerning, but having had my last case very similar to this case, autistic boy, the mother failed the polygraph, all signs were pointing at her, and she was being deceptive, but she was being deceptive because she had left a door open and he got out. He ended up drowning in a nearby pond. My point is that there's a lot of inconsistent statements out there. I want to understand why. I'm also concerned, Brian, remember, law enforcement searched a landfill with a probable cause affidavit. That's concerning. What was the probable cause? So certainly there's a lot of things in the...
I thought police said about that they just did it just to cover everything. Not necessarily that they found some type of evidence that led them to a landfill. I heard that it was just to cover their bases.
This case that are very concerning.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up because here you've got a ground search and you've got the...
Dragonfly Lady says, what does it mean when they say they are searching for Sebastian when there is no ground search by them? I don't think that they think he's out there in the woods. I remember they scaled it back, and I don't even know. Are they still searching, law enforcement? I think they've taken it to a level of like trying to get probably videos, talk to people, neighbors, family, trying to find out maybe Sebastian's associates or friends or anything. Note to self, thank you for the membership. Also, pause, how you say that? Pose. Thank you so much.
United Cajun Navy coming in volunteers, and in a way it's confusing because then you had the police very specifically with a warrant going to the landfill and searching, and those things don't really seem to necessarily match up, but it's definitely one that we'll all stay on. Poor little Sebastian. I mean, he's such a cute kid. It's heartbreaking to think that he's still missing all this time later, so we'll stay on it. Jennifer Coffendoffer, thank you so much.
That was Jennifer. So I guess kind of a nothing burger, kind of like Madeline Soto. So I saw somebody in the chat say that. I haven't watched this interview yet. If you want to watch it, this is the biological dad.
Been a month since your son went missing. How are you feeling today?
Same as I was yesterday. Just continuing the search, continue looking. I'm not going to give up. Nobody can make me give up.
And where have you been searching? Where do you think he is?
I've been searching everywhere. I mean, anything out of that 5 mile radius that the initial search did, they covered everything there. But there's stuff elsewhere. I mean, we got a lot of territory to cover. And it being over a month, he could be anywhere currently. So I'm searching everywhere.
You, Katie, and Chris had a meeting with TBI today. Did you find out any new information?
Not that I can discuss.
Any progression that might show hope in this search?
Oh, I always have hope. Can't take that away from me.
And how confident are you that Sebastian is alive, and what do you think he's doing right now?
Pretty sure he's probably playing video games somewhere. Nobody's letting him, whoever's got him, they're not letting him see the regular news. They're not letting him surf the internet. Or else he'd know that I'm looking for him. And he'd know that he should actually be trying to get a hold of me. And that keeps me going.
Is there a strong reason to believe he may have been abducted?
I don't know if he's been abducted or if he's just, over at a friend's house. Never know. But I'll know when I find him. I'll know exactly what has happened to him.
And other news outlets were reporting that there were lights seen in the backyard that were caught on camera by a neighbor's video. Is that true?
No. What that was a trash truck. Went through, picked up trash, and when it left, of course it went faster. I didn't have to stop to pick up trash. That's just false information provided by a particular person.
Did the dogs ever pick up a scent for Sebastian?
From my information that I've been given, no.
Did they find anything on Sebastian's cell phone that would, kind of show that he was going to run away or where he might be?
Not that I know of. He didn't have any internet access or anything on there. He'd have been able to call, text, take a picture, send a picture, use the calculator. That's about it.
Was Sebastian in school on Friday, the day before he went missing?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you, Chris, or Katie, or any of you suspects in this case?
No, we're not.
Have you been cleared?
I don't know if the investigation is still ongoing. We wouldn't be cleared until the investigation's done. But currently, from my understanding, they don't have any information that would attach us to any wrongdoing.
CPS has gone to Katie's house before. You didn't know about that until this investigation. How does that make you feel?
That somebody somewhere dropped the ball because I was never informed. And I'm the biological father. I have joint legal, joint physical custody. Somebody dropped the ball and didn't reach out and inform the father, which is me. And I don't understand why the state dropped the ball on that one.
And how did you find out about CPS?
Podcast.
And I mean, does that concern you, especially with this case, that they might have done something to cause him to run away?
I don't know what that really means, but I just know that I don't have all the information.
Is there an official timeline? And I know people, there was, we went to bed at this hour, but does TBI or anyone have an official timeline as to the series?
I'm pretty sure they do, but I'm not involved in the investigation, so I wouldn't have it.
Have the three of you been in contact every day like you were several weeks ago about this?
I was in contact with both Katie and Chris today, but I've heard he said his phone is open and available. Well, so is mine.
Oh.
You can leave a voicemail. Like 7 or 8 people have already left me voicemails today. I'm going. I get people calling me while I'm on the phone, and it's like, I can't just sit there and answer the phone for everybody. If I did that, I probably wouldn't be able to get out of my house.
There's been a lot of criticism over this investigation. I'm sure you've received criticism as well as the Proudfoots. How does that make you feel in a time where you're just...
Maria in the chat says the only one that's still searching is Seth's father. He still gathers volunteers at every place every morning and head out to search. Wow. Dang.
Trying to find your son.
People are being, that goes back to those keyboard warriors I talked about on the first interview that you and I had. They're still at it. They'll never stop. There's cowards in this world, and then there's people who are go-getters. My feet, they're on the ground. They're never going to leave the ground. I'm going to find my son. Period.
And plans, today on moving forward, any more resources being used on this investigation, or anything you have to say about that?
The United Cajun Navy is currently sitting down there right now, and...
By the way, this is an old interview, so this is from 4 days ago. I don't think they're any longer searching.
90 Volunteer Drive in Hendersonville. 10:30. That's when volunteers need to show up. 10:30. Show up, have your ID, sign the paperwork, and they send people out in teams. When you show up, there ain't nobody there except for a couple people. That's because they've already sent teams out. They're just going to keep sending teams out until we find my son.
Have there been a lot of volunteers coming out to help find Sebastian?
Today there was, and I want to thank everybody who did come out. We're seeing an increase, and we're going to continue to see an increase. I'd like the whole state of Tennessee to volunteer, and then we'll hit other states.
And you're Sebastian's father. Tell me, what is Sebastian like?
He's a unique child, all right? It's really hard to describe my son. Besides being unique. Whether he's up to no good or he's up to good, he's still he's just got that uniqueness about him. It's really hard to describe.
It was interesting. SF Investigates posted that he says during the press conference, Sebastian Rogers, law enforcement confirms about Sebastian Rogers. Law enforcement confirms that United Cajun Navy are liars. UCN is not working with law enforcement. I had thought I heard them say that they are. I could be wrong because there's a lot that's been going on, but law enforcement said no. And then they didn't report the death threats. There's people that get death threats and don't report it. Doesn't mean it's not true necessarily. But LE thanked UCN for the role of printing flyers. Damn.
I mean, he's my mini-me. If he has a goal, he's going to accomplish that goal. You know, people at school, they liked him. All the kids are wanting to know when he's going to come back. They want to help and volunteer. Teachers are they're putting out prayers every day. You know, everybody, it's coming up. It's Easter. I'm hoping for an Easter miracle. You know, I could definitely use it in my life right now.
And why did they search the landfill?
I have no idea. They didn't, not part of the investigation. They're not going to tell me stuff. I am emotionally attached, as any parent should be.
And how often do you meet with TBI?
If I call them all the time. Call, text, hey, any new news? They either let me know or they let me know.
Are you happy with the work that all these agencies have done, or do you think there needs to be more?
There could probably always be more. We just got to figure out what more is necessary. Am I happy with them? I'm not unhappy. But you asked me that after my son's back, and it's going to be, I'm happy. All right? Because in law enforcement, it's always goal-oriented, you know? Go to work, put a smile on your face, get the job done. I know that they're putting their effort, 150% effort into this. And I appreciate that. And I'm hoping it will pay off with fruition.
Do you think Katie and Chris are suspects?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Sebastian's been missing for more than a month now. What keeps you getting up every morning, going out and searching for him?
Being a dad, having perseverance, wanting him to come home, wanting to watch him finish growing up.
Do you wear this every day? Talk to me about this shirt.
This right here is my own billboard to find my son. People notice people. People notice what people are wearing. So I am a walking handout. I have these in my car.
How do you select that photo? It's so cute.
Because it's cute. It's got a smile. It's the last picture I took of him.
Wow. So I guess that's
15-year-old Sebastian.
with that. I mean, some of the things that people pointed out, I'm looking on Facebook as well, as reading some of the comments, because some people are saying the press conference was useless, but other people are saying they found there was some glasses that were found that they're still trying to confirm whether it is, if it belongs to Sebastian or not. We found out that there's no foul play suspected at this time. We found out that nothing is ruled out at this point, and found out that all the parents have cooperated, or they are cooperating. So that's a big thing, I guess. And they addressed social media. So I don't know. Very odd. Just disappeared. Doesn't make much sense to me. Hey, Diamond, how you doing? Doesn't make much sense to me. But I think he's alive though. I don't think he's deceased. I was thinking about coming on later too. We'll see how it goes. I want to possibly talk about Riley Strain. I think there's actually supposed to be a press conference this week from the family. Let me see. It's okay. We'll take a look at this video clip. because he was found, and I guess
Imagine seeing your child drive off to college and then come home.
I believe they're saying no water in the lungs.
Home in a hearse. The family of Riley Strain doesn't have to imagine that awful scenario. They've experienced it. And tonight they have more details and more questions about the death of 22-year-old Missouri college student Riley Strain. Was it really an accident, as police say? Well, tonight the focus is on one key accessory that Riley was apparently wearing the night he disappeared from downtown Nashville, a belt. New information from the Strain family points to a possibility of a more sinister ending to the young man's life than the initial autopsy suggested. The Nashville Police Department has determined there were no signs of foul play. Riley's body was pulled from the Cumberland River 2 weeks after he vanished, about 8 miles away after a night out with friends. He allegedly left a local bar by himself. There is security footage of him walking off, but in the wrong direction, in the opposite direction of his hotel. Riley was found in the river without his pants, his wallet, or his cowboy boots that he was wearing the night he went missing.
Oh, Buller, I forgot your super chat earlier. Thank you for the 5, says Nancy Grace sucks. Sonia, thank you for the 15-month membership, says a press conference to say there's no new developments. What the F? I'm still going to watch, though.
And despite a massive, intensive search of the area, those items of clothing have never turned up. The family says Riley was also wearing a belt the night he disappeared. Joining us now is Strain family friend Chris Dingman. Chris, great to have you back on the show. It's the first time I've had you on the show since Riley's funeral. I just first want to ask, how are Michelle and
Buller, thank you for the 5, says holy ish. How long do we have to say no foul play at for? News Nation is just stretching. Please, for the love of God, no Nancy Grace.
Chris and the rest of his family?
Well, with the thing, let me see if they said there was no air in the lungs. Let me see. Riley Strain. That was the whole thing with Kylie Rodney too. There's people like crazy. Okay. This is what and somebody had a decent explanation of this as well. This is an article from three days ago. There's even a video attached to it. Riley Strain's family ordered a second autopsy after presumed drowning. His parents still have questions. They ordered a second autopsy. And let's see here. The preliminary report are raising questions among family members. The complete autopsy and toxicology could take weeks or months. One thing that threw the family for a loop was the lack of water in the lungs. Usually water in the lungs means they were alive when they went into the water. Let's see here. He was only found with his watch and shirt and was just half dressed from the waist down. And we can watch the video after. Anytime that we have someone that is unclad, particularly in the lower body, it's rather provocative when you begin to think about, and so we take a harder look at those kinds of cases because any number of things can at least be implied. Asked to why there's no water in his lungs, forensic expert Dr. Michelle Dupre told News Nation it doesn't necessarily mean he didn't drown. Dupre explained that there are 2 ways to drown: wet drowning, when you ingest water, and dry drowning, when you're what is that called? Let me see how you pronounce this. And this is what I've heard, that just because you drown doesn't necessarily mean you have to have water in your lungs. There's also called wet drowning when you so wet drowning is when you ingest water, and dry drowning is when you're whatever this is called. Let me see how to say it. Laryngospasm? How to say? Let's have him say it for us. Oh.
Laryngospasm.
Laryngospasm. Okay, for laryngospasm. In dry drowning, the body reacts to the water entering the system by automatically closing the airways, which means neither water nor oxygen is getting in the lungs. So I've heard about that too, that your thing can have like some type of reaction to where it actually like closes or spasms or whatever. And so the water doesn't make it inside. All right. I understand why the parents want to push, because, it's their kid. So that, they want to go every route. And then as far as his clothes and his pants, I mean, and he could have been, the barge could have pulled it off. He was in the current, in the water. It could be a number of things.
What am I doing?
I got to visit with them today. They came over to the office for a little bit, and we got to catch up and, just talk about life, being home. Michelle was able to talk just a little bit and then instantly, went into memories and missing her son. So it's still very, very brutal on the family right now. We're in the stage right now to where we want answers.
Yeah.
We were able and blessed to bring Riley home and, to bury him properly. But now the war room is totally turned into getting answers because people know there's some answers out there that we need to have.
What are those answers that you need, and how are they related to this belt that he was apparently wearing that night that his parents say he wore every day?
Yeah, there's still some people of interest. We noticed that News Nation actually reached out Friday to the Metro Nashville Police Department following up on the investigation, seeing if there was any new information, and was told abruptly that there was no investigation. They were waiting for toxicology. So unlike, more like what we have found this entire time of doing this, trying to find Riley.
So his Riley Strain's body missing. It says jeans, cowboy boots, billfold.
We're going to have to find our information via the internet, via TikTok, via incredible reporters like you guys chasing down leads, because I strongly feel that we're not going to get any support from Metro Nashville. Our two strongest leads that we have received has been from the internet, not from the police, stuff that was given to the police. So,
and what are those leads?
The leads were like right there with the body cam. We had people that had found the debit card shortly following that. The couple that actually come forward from listening to a podcast that was in the last video that he was seen by the construction barricade. There's so little, but when you're watching the film that you're showing right now with the police cam, when it spins around, there's actually
they're saying that he wears a belt, so it's unlikely his pants came off in the water and his underwear remained. Was he found? He said he was found his underwear on. The thing too, I wonder if he would have maybe tried to take off his pants, so try to swim in pants probably hard and in boots. I don't know. Buller, thank you for the 5, says Dingman still thinks Ross 5'4" homeless guy is the killer. No way. I hope he's not on payroll for the family's PR. So they're still after this elusive homeless guy, I guess?
There's some people that's farther down the way that looks like they're sitting outside their vehicle.
But what is hey, Chris, what's the significance of the belt? Because listen, a lot of people don't realize that when something happens to a person, whether, for example, they're hit by a car, they're often knocked out of their shoes, out of their clothes. People don't understand that actually happens. Same thing happens when a person falls into a river. Items of clothing can be ripped off by the current, by the force of the fall. He still had his shirt on. And you say that because of a belt, he should have still had his pants on. Can you explain why you're attaching so much significance to the fact that you say he was wearing a belt?
Yeah, the belt, Riley had a swimmer's body, and I loved him for that. He was actually an excellent swimmer. And his hips, with the belt being on his hips, that would have been even more hard for the pants to come off in the water. It literally would have been snug to him. It would have been riding on his hips. Everybody we talked to about that, as soon as we found out he had a belt on that night, was like, wow, that totally changes the dynamics of why those articles are missing. His boots, they're a size 15 boot. Anytime any shoes or tennis shoes get wet, you know how hard it is just to get a tennis shoe off, let alone a size 15 boot. So the belt is a big piece of the puzzle that we now have, and but once again raises more questions.
And when do you expect the results? The family has ordered a second autopsy to be performed. When do you expect to have results from that?
They were actually following up on that today and reached out. We were told, which we've not been given the information by the original autopsy, but we were told a family member can request the actual autopsy short of the toxicology that Metro Nashville provided. We were not aware of that information. So the family did reach out today, I think left messages to try to get that initial report also. So we're hoping within the next 24 hours to get more answers than we currently have.
Right.
But I also wish we would have been given that when it was done a week ago.
Yeah, that would have been helpful. Thanks so much.
All right, so we'll see what happens with the second autopsy.
A funeral was held today for Riley Strain, the college student who got separated from his frat brothers in Nashville and ended up dead in a nearby river. Initially, it was thought to be a tragic accident. Now, Riley's parents have asked for a second autopsy after it was revealed their son was found without his jeans and boots on.
Was it murder? The family of college student Riley Strain is seeking an independent autopsy as troubling questions are being raised about the circumstances of his death in Nashville. When Strain's body was pulled from the Cumberland River last Friday, it was found without pants, cowboy boots. His wallet was also missing.
There are no signs of foul play at this time. Mr. Strain still had the shirt on that he was wearing, still had the watch.
But there was no mention that when Riley was found, he was only wearing his boxers and socks. Adding further mystery to the investigation.
Well, they said he had his shirt on too, I think.
And there was apparently no water found in Riley's lungs, which experts say may be a sign he was dead before his body ever entered the river. The University of Missouri student was seen stumbling around Nashville after being kicked out of the country star Luke Bryan's bar. Now, a spokesman for Strain's family tells News Nation that the family has hired its own independent coroner.
The family deserves more answers than we have. I think there's somebody out there that knows what actually happened that night, and we would love for him to come forward, and we need some more info.
I spoke to pathologist Priya Banerjee, who says there could be several reasons other than foul play for why Riley's body was found in the condition it was. How do you explain that his pants and his boots were missing?
Did he voluntarily take them off? Did he try to swim out of the water? Did they just get knocked off given the turbulence of the water? The possibilities are limitless.
A final toxicology report on Riley Strain is pending.
All right. So, all right. Oh, by the way, for the members, the challenge, we got to do the winners. I'm thinking Friday we do it. Maybe in the afternoon or evening we'll do the winners of the challenge. I got to get with Mustard Mama to talk with her. And yeah, to get that done. All right, I guess that's it for now. Please hit the like and subscribe. Check out my second channel as well, Ikidmel CC, Ikidmel space CC. And if there's any updates that come up, I will cover it. I think I am covering Karen Reed trial. It's in April, I think next week, I think. Oh, but there's other stuff happening too. Oh, Karen Reed. Oh, there's a hearing on the 4th. What's interesting too is that Treehouse Murder, they're having to do a retrial. That's happening on the 4th. There's a preliminary hearing on the 4th for Elijah Vu. I don't think he's been found yet either. Mom and boyfriend arrested, locked up. The Microsoft ex-husband exec. Murder for hire. That one's going to be really probably interesting too. The Microsoft exec. Jennifer Crumley and James Crumley's sentencing is coming up too. So we got a lot coming up. It's going to be busy. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll catch you later. We'll see what happens. Oh, wrong screen. Boom. I'll catch you guys later, all right? Peace. Adios. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, yeah. Murdoch was sentenced. No deal.